Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Metaphysical Hour. I'm Julia Cannon, and this is my co-host, Tracy Mahan. Woo! And our moderator, Tiffany.
Yay!
Tiffany's back.
I love it when she's back. I struggle.
You were doing,
not do
you
her
were doing
job.
good, but I know it's now you're used to her not doing it. So it
I
was like
know.
you're having to pull from old, whatever,
Knowledge. Yeah, I had to revert back. Well, and it was
How did I used to do this?
Mercury in retrograde, so I'm reverting back to old ways of reading the comments myself.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
Yes. But anyway, you guys know the routine. Come on in and tell us where you're from and spark out your part of the world, your dot on the grid.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. And don't forget, if you have questions, Tiffany is back. So capitalize Tiffany so that she knows that it's a question. Put it first. I see it already. Hi, Tiffany in there. That's awesome. So absolutely wonderful. So did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, I did. Well, before Christmas, I went and saw Tiffany, and that's where we did the show that time from her house. So that was fun. And I got to see her babies, Piper and Percy. They're always wonderful. They love me. So Tiffany's gonna go. Anyway, yeah, we had a good time. We went to several fairs and like markets and things, and so yeah,
I love
good.
that.
Spent good time together. How about you?
Lots of family, which was really nice. It was good. The family gatherings and it was, yeah, every day there was something. So it was good. It was nice to have the days to just be able to go, and it wasn't like too busy. It was like nice socializing, one in the afternoon,
Yeah.
slow mornings, and then
Mm-hmm.
it went off
Then you
to
get going.
our adventures. Yeah. So it was
Yeah,
really nice.
on Christmas Day, I got to spend that day with my brother and his wife. So that was so much fun. Yeah. So it's just exactly family. That's what it's all about. Just enjoying the time.
Love it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We should have them on the show sometime just to say hello.
Oh, you're gonna love. They actually watched for the first time one of our metaphysical hours.
Oh, did they? Were we?
Yes. Yes. And Karen was like, "Is that Tracy?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's Tracy." She goes, "Oh, wow, she looks 30. She's only 30, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's gonna love you
Oh,
for
I do
that."
love her. All right.
She's so young.
Filters. That's hilarious. I probably needed to hear that.
So I will tell her.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome.
So that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So do I wait for you to ask for the energy update, or do I just start volunteering that before Tiffany throws?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just a given. I thought that was a natural part of the show.
Yeah.
Energy update.
Well,
beep, 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 beep.
let me make sure I remember which planet it is. It's I think it's Jupiter's leaving something. So I'm gonna just double check here really quick. Jupiter stations direct on the 31st. So
Okay.
got that going direct. Oh, now my video is gonna play. Sorry about that. So that's going direct on the 31st, and then the 1st of January, I believe, is the end of Mercury in retrograde. It goes direct. So what that was doing is, we were talking about how we're going to figure out what fits in our lives and what doesn't, and all the goodies. And now as these are all going direct, now we're going to be like, okay, now I want to move forward this way.
Now we know. So,
yeah. So now you're going to have what you need to make the changes that you've been looking at, that you've been reviewing and contemplating. Now you're going to make those changes and feel inspired to do so. So time for change. What a great time, right? New Year's Eve.
New Year's, absolutely. It's like it was destined. I mean, it's like planned.
Yeah, you think
that day.
What they were doing?
Okay, now start your new course.
Yep. You reviewed, you relooked, you listened, and now it's time to take some action. So very good.
Yeah.
And we will say, if you guys are commenting, if you feel like we're not seeing your comments, please make sure if you are on Facebook to click on the video that's playing so that it opens up, and then comment in the opened version of it, not just the small version. I hope that made sense, because every time I swear I go to one of the Facebook pages, I'm like, oh, I didn't see that one come through.
Yeah.
So please click on the video so that it opens up, and then comment on that version of it, just so that we can be safe. Or go to YouTube and watch us live there on either my YouTube or Julia's YouTube. Not that we compete over who gets more. So close, you guys. It's like neck and neck every time. So we gotta keep
Every
up.
time.
Usually if one of us wins, it's by like one.
Mhm.
It's just fun to do it. Shall we
Mhm.
get Tiffany on here to tell us where?
I think we should.
All
Tiffany, where's everybody coming from?
Well, let me scroll backwards. And while
She's way
I'm
beyond
doing
that.
that, you did have a random question, not random, but a question about when will the room blocks be posted for the Sedona retreat? So figured you could answer that while I'm scrolling.
Absolutely. It is on there now.
Okay.
The link, I think it just got done today. So it should be there now. It'll just say Hilton.com, and then that will go to our blog.
Cool. Okay, so we have New York, Florida, Australia, Arizona, UK, another Florida, another Australia, Northern California. We have some Canada. We have lots of Washington, Georgia, Ireland, Connecticut, Oregon, from the Netherlands, Connecticut, Chicago, Wisconsin, Seattle, Kansas, Virginia, Nevada, another Florida, Texas, Indiana, Oklahoma City, Canada, New Zealand, Ohio, Australia, Scotland.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Every time blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind.
I'm seeing like Norway, Finland, Belgium. Those guys are in there too. Scotland.
I'm not down there yet.
Yeah.
Tennessee. Yeah, yeah. I'm scrolling as fast as I can.
I'm trying to get there.
Hong Kong. Woo.
Oh, Philippines, Scotland, Finland. Yep, there you are.
Oh, you guys are all active tonight.
Everywhere. Oh my God. That's so cool.
Thank
cool.
you, Tiffy. Wonderful. That's so much fun to see where you guys are all from and have you bounce in there. As I'm over here just watching it, scrolling more of them.
I know it's mesmerizing. It's so cool. But again, the reason I ask, one, it blows my mind. It's always so humbling just to hear where you're from. But also, you need, like I said before, you need to see that you're not alone. Look, guys, we're everywhere, all over the world. You're not just by yourself. And this is where you can be with like-minded people.
Do it. Do the thing. I got your sound effects.
Absolutely have sound effects.
I love it.
You must.
You must. All right. Was there anything that you wanted to share before we have her announce the questions?
Not off the top of my head, but it might be that something will relate. I mean, it's, it might jog my memory, like with somebody. It's like, if there is something, I feel like there is, but it's not the right time.
Oh, well, we're going to find the right time, and then
maybe somebody, whatever, or all of a sudden it'll be, oh, somebody needs this. I always love that. It's like it just starts coming, and it's for somebody.
There's somebody, and here's what you need.
Exactly. Don't you love those?
Love them. All right, you guys. So if you haven't watched for a while, Julia and I ask you to post your questions. Put capital letters Tiffany, because she's the one that's looking for your questions. So if you're just commenting and sharing, don't put her name on it. Only if you're asking a question. It makes it so much easier to find your question, and then she'll read it to us and we'll think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ready, set. Are there any questions ready for us, Tiffany?
There are a couple, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. Um,
Got a Percy in the lap for sure, I bet you.
no, he's actually not. I have a Piper.
Oh, a Piper in
Um,
that.
yeah. So this is from Amanda. Her question is, my son wants to know if anyone has ever incarnated as a parent and their own child at the same time.
Oh, that's a
Mm.
really good question. I would say no. No. Well, I've not seen it and I've not heard of it. But you know, we are multidimensional beings. I mean, the more and more we find out, I mean, we're really all one. So in that way, kind of technically, we are everybody in our lives. But in the scheme of how we look at reincarnation and how we look at all these things, no, it's rare that you even come back in the same family, much less the, you know, a child to a parent that you were with before. And so now you're asking if they're both the same. See, I mean, it's very possible, and it can be as we understand more about simultaneous time and multi dimensions. It very well might be. But at this point in the juncture, my mind's going, it's really twisting because you asked that question.
Because I'm over here going, mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a mind twister, isn't it?
That's a delicious question. Because think about
That
it.
is.
Time isn't, I mean, we're the ones that experience time. So technically, you could come into the life as the parent and then live several other lives in between because there's no time, and then come back and incarnate as a child in that lifetime after having all these other experience. I mean, the mind can just take that all over.
Absolutely. That's
So
when it goes
possible. Anything
exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Just by what we have understood to this point, it's like
I don't
probably
think
not.
any of us
but the
have
more we're-
experienced it. Yeah, as far as like a
exactly. We haven't
practitioner
seen
in
it in
regression.
session.
Yeah, we haven't
Yeah.
seen it in the regressions yet that I'm
Right.
aware.
Right. But I'm willing to say anything is possible as well. I mean, when we understand more, I mean, it's very likely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does. It falls back to, are we all incarnated for aspects of the same soul?
Exactly.
We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, when like they'll say, when you really get down to it, there's just one, you know, and so in that, you know, we're playing all the roles. I mean, that again is,
Yeah.
I prefer to look at it the way we have it right now, just because it's a little easier on my brain. But you know, there was a time that simultaneous time completely broke my brain, and now it doesn't. So
yeah.
So
Judy?
I would say I love the question. I love that he asked it. I mean, how old is this son?
Oh,
We'll see if they respond. They didn't say. But
I'm
Judy
curious.
chimed in that reincarnating as two people in one family, she's had that once in a QHHT session. So
thank you,
Yeah,
Judy.
it doesn't happen very often, but it can. We have seen that. I know one where it was an uncle and it was like the niece and the uncle. The uncle passed. I mean and then they came back as that would have been the niece, you know. So it's like, yeah. Now of course they passed. They had to,
Yeah.
and what we know they had to pass. So, but it would have been his own niece. So he came back in that way. But doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. It's like if there's something that needs to be finished within that line. Otherwise, there's not a purpose necessarily to come back to the same family.
There's a lot of things with that. Like I've heard it also as, and this, everything we say here, you know, take it with a grain of salt and use your own discernment on it. But like, relatives will come back to, like, if your parent or grandparent passes away, or even a sibling or something like that, then they may shadow you, in the sense of being your guide or of some kind, because you're going to go through a lesson that they were supposed to learn that they didn't get to. And so they're going to shadow you in a sense like that, or they're going to come help you through something that they also went through. And they're going to be able to help you through it. So there's all kinds of things.
That makes sense.
It's
Yeah.
infinite possibilities, you guys, infinite
Absolutely.
possibilities. But yeah, so many things. All right.
Mhm.
That was a good question. All
Yeah,
right.
very good.
Her son is 29 and he asks, he always has unique questions. So
That is definitely a unique question.
yeah.
Just that was a mind-breaking question.
And I also wanted to
Tell him he broke Julia's mind.
Well, he bent it so far it almost broke. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bending. That's funny. All right. What else, Tiffany?
I also just wanted to shout out and say hello to Monica.
Hey, Monica.
Okay. So this question's from Carol. If I've had some past lives here, can I still be a first waver like I always thought I was?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I know Mom was saying it's like the waves, this was their first life, but not necessarily. They were coming from everywhere. It's like it might have been a while, maybe since you haven't. And I don't know. People keep saying that I'm a wave, or they're talking about star seeds and stuff, and I'm like, I never considered myself one because I know of other lives. I know of lives that I've had, and that's what I was thinking too. But then you look at what you're doing and what you're. It's kind of like that. There's other characteristics of the waves, and so it's like, or the star seeds and things, and so you look at that, but you can definitely. It's like you can have been here and then this happened, and so it's like, okay, I'm coming in for this, it's like you still volunteered. See, it was a volunteer. To me, what just is coming in is, if you've had other lives, then that's helped you tremendously, to help others, the other ones that were coming in with no lives here on earth. Don't you know that's rough?
Yeah. The way that I kind of understood it was, if you had other lives here, you transcended them and you've already done this work once, and so you know how to do it, and that's why you came back to help. If you've been somebody that's had other lives. And then there are some that are new. Absolutely. We've seen that in our sessions for sure. So
it came from other frequencies, other dimensions. It might be their first time on Earth, but
and you might have been on planets that were like
too.
Might have been on planets that were like Earth, and that's also
it could have. And then they're saying don't discount imprinting, because you can't tell when you've had lives imprinted on your soul as you come in. It was to help you to have the resources, essentially, to understand what the life, like what life here would be, and it helps you in whatever you're wanting to accomplish. So you're doing that, and that you can't tell until you get to the higher self. If it was, because you'll still read like another life. You'll get all the information from it as if it were your own. When you get to the higher self, then they might tell you, no, that was just an imprint. It wasn't a life. So it wasn't a life here on Earth that they actually lived. Otherwise, you'll never, you can't tell. So that's a possibility.
I'm going to take that to the next stretch, because another thing was that volunteers don't have children, but now, we know that to be different now, that they do have children, but they're also bringing in more volunteers. That's the way I understand it. Like the children are also high vibration starseed beings.
Right. What came to me, because that was early on. They were like, well, because Mom was saying it's like they didn't want to have children because children created karma, and it was like they didn't want to be stuck here. And it's like, let me do my thing and let me get out of here. And as the second wave was coming in, or after they were here for a while, it was coming, because they were all like, oh my gosh, that some of them really upset I had children. Oh, that mean I'm trapped here and stuff. And what I was getting, it was so clear, it was so funny. It was like, no, you can't, because you're bringing in the next wave. And they need that vibration. That third wave needed the second wave's energy to be able to make it easier for them. So that, because here's parents that understand them because they're of like energy. Makes total sense.
Absolutely.
And so, and then it was like, and don't worry about the karma thing, because karma's over anyway. So it's like, then all that shifted through that process. Karma was erased during, about the time that the second waves were coming in. So, or maybe, yeah, that'd be about right, or a little before that. So see how it was, the game board was changing as we were going on. The rules were changing.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are like, wait, but there's still all these things that happen. Well, evolution's still happening and ascension is still happening, and therefore you still need to learn things and grow and have that spiritual growth.
Yeah.
And there still needs to be a vibrational healing in some areas. So you might be working on that, and that might be interpreted as the karma. So yeah, so there are still things going on the planet, but maybe not what you think it is. So that's interesting.
Right. Well, and they said there's patterns. What they're telling me too is like, yeah, you can, we were on it. We were on that karmic cycle, and then it's like they wiped it clean. It's like everybody's, you're done. It's all wiped, and there's no more karma. But then we were still doing things that looked like we were on this wheel, and they said that was just habit because you're used to it. So, you're just doing the same patterns. You're doing the same things that you've been doing, whatever. And it was like, you just need to step off. And they showed it to me like, I saw it like a treadmill. It was like this constant thing, but you could look at it like a hamster wheel, anything like that that's perpetual. It just keeps on going, going, going. And they just showed me that's like, just step to the side. You step off of it. That's all you have to do. And you're no longer on it. Then you're not part of the rules of whatever that is. You just step off. And then with that stepping off, now then it becomes, then you take responsibility for things that are happening. It's not, you can't blame that anymore. You're not on it, so, and it's not patterns. It's not, you're not into these things that are involuntary. Now you are making conscious decisions. You're determining, your actions for things. And that actions have reactions and seeing that kind of thing. Now you're taking responsibility for what you do.
Yeah.
And that's a big step. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to blame everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you'll keep playing that game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all good. All right. Yeah. What else do we got? Give us another one, Tiffany.
Okay. Let's see here. This is a fun one. Are you guys aware of any new energy and new downloads for 2024?
Ooh.
I mean, there's always some new stuff coming in, but yeah, our energy is shifting. Just even all the stuff we're talking about astrologically, we're always going through a shift, right? We're always going through changes, but we're going through a big one right now. So there has been, from my knowledge, there has been activation, downloads, whatever you want to call them, shifts in the energy that we're acclimating. They've been kind of like, give you a little bit here, give you a little bit there, and easing us into something that we're getting ready for a bigger vibration or a different frequency, whatever you want to call it, for 2024. Yeah.
That was an interesting question to say, asking about if there are any downloads. I've always seen downloads as a personal thing, and they were what's relevant to the person and needed by the person at the time. But maybe that's not the case. And so you're answering as if there are, and there probably are some that are global downloads, but I've just always paid more, I guess I'm just more noticeable of the individual ones. It's like you get what you're needing at a certain time, but maybe that is a global thing.
Well, and the way that I would describe that is what does come in globally, it's going to download in each individual where they're at, right? They're going to hit it at the frequency that they're able to acquire. So nobody has to worry they're going to get overloaded, and when nobody has to worry they're going to miss anything. It's going to get you where you're at, and it's out there. It's a code, or however you want to. There's just so many ways to look at it. We can't hit everybody's belief system, but all of you are right. Don't worry about how we're saying it. If you think of it a different way, don't worry about it. We're all saying the same thing. And yeah, you are acclimating. Your DNA might be changing. Your cellular structures might be changing. Your diet, your ideas, the way you're thinking, all these things might be changing, and it's getting you ready to let go of old constructs and bring in new ones, and be ready to let go of relationships and bring in new ones. And and all kinds of things. So yeah, we're going through all those things. And a lot of people have been feeling it, like very, very sleepy, getting all cuddled up in bed, right, Judy? We were just talking about that because I just went through that phase where I'm like, I feel like I want to sleep all the time. I'm like a hibernating bear. And now I feel good again. I feel revived again. And other than the nap that I took on right before the show today, unplanned nap. So anyways,
those are the best.
those are the best. I sat down and was watching a show, and I set my alarm so that I wouldn't overwatch the show. And luckily I set that alarm because it woke me up. But anyways, we're going through those symptoms of the shift, you know. It's like I said, your appetite might change, your desire for certain kinds of foods might change, even the way you breathe and want to be out in the world might change. You know, you're going through different frequency updates and your body's changing. So
yeah, you know, that mom was one of the things that they said is the downloads, what, you know, you get downloaded and it's there and it might lay dormant for quite a while until you're ready or something happens, and then all of a sudden you have information, you have something, and you don't know how you got it. You don't know why you know that.
Yeah.
You don't know these different things. So that was because the downloads had happened previously. So it's like you get what you need, and then you'll notice it when you need it.
love it. Yeah.
Away.
As I think we both like to say it, the great remembering, you know, it wakes us up in these areas that were dormant, like you were saying. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
You guys have some really good questions tonight,
Yeah,
which means
very
you're
good.
feeling that energy. And that's what's giving you guys all these great ideas.
Well, I think because we're entering, you know, we're ending this year. This is that like you're really looking back and kind of reevaluating and now ready to start this new trajectory. So I think that's where these questions are coming from. It's like you've been doing all that reviewing and now you're ready to go.
Let's take it to the next level, you guys. Here we are. All right. Tiffany.
This is from Angel. Sorry.
It's like you're toning before you ask the question.
Oh, yes. Oh,
you know, like when you're wine tasting and you got to cleanse the palate. That's what it is. The palate.
This is from Angel. They just read Soul Speak. Amazing, amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Question, I'm strong-willed. How do I learn to listen and hear my guides, SC, etc.? I'm very left-brained and it seems to be harder for me to hear my messages. I seem to get messages from animals but can't hear my guides. Thank you.
Okay, then let your animals talk to you. Let them tell you. I mean, it's however you will let it come in. And if it needs to be an animal, that's fine. But there's many ways. I mean, you can talk to the body part. See, that's kind of like not saying an animal is like a body part. It's not, but it's kind of like that idea of it. It's like you drop your defenses when you're not trying to reach out to the higher self or them. It's like, no, what's going to happen? You have expectation. But if you're talking to the body part, you know, that's like, that's kind of a neutral. You know, it's like it's not this awe thing. It's like, okay, knee, what have you had? What are you trying to tell me? You know, and it'll tell you. Well, who's to say? I mean, it's the knee or it's the higher self. I mean, it's all coming from the same place, but it's whatever you need to do to allow you to allow it. See, it's just you allowing. And when you're saying I'm very left-brained and stuff, it's not, you're analytical. You're trying to understand it. And many times that can shut it, and that kind of puts walls up there, because that very act of wanting it so much, and then that just kind of, it closes it down for you. So if you, whatever you need to do to make it neutral, but if you hear, did she say your animals talk to you? You hear things from the animals? See, it's no different than that. You already have an example set for you of how it works.
Yeah. Everything you said. Don't go into trying. Don't go into the effort or the wanting.
Just allow.
Go into the allowing. One of the tricks that someone taught me, and I use it with people, and it seems to work, because we go into that looking for it, especially in the analytical mind. You get asked a question, and instead of going up here for it, you go right here. Where is that? And you start thinking. So they told me to put a whiteboard or a chalkboard in front of my third eye. Imagine a chalkboard or a whiteboard, and then just imagine the answer gets written in. So you're not thinking about the answer, you're just letting them write it in, and then ask some yes, no questions just to make it easy, or some questions with numbers, or, and just do something like that and make it easy, and just see it written in there, and then start getting to the bigger questions and the bigger questions, and use the whiteboard and let it get written in. That's one of the tricks to bypass the critical mind that wants to think about it and get in there and solve that problem. Because don't we all want to do that sometimes? It's like, oh, I'm thinking too hard about it. Instead of just being in the open the mind and let the answer just plop in.
Exactly. And I tell you, if you'll just, the very first thing, I mean, it's like, don't even think about it. It's just, you ask the question. It's usually it's there before you even finish the question. That's how fast it can be there. It's when you ask and you're like that. See, that's the conscious mind now trying to find it. Just do that, and then just whatever came in, just trust it. And like, I love that. Just ask yes and no questions at first, and make them very non-threatening. They're not personal. There's no attachment to them. And then that can kind of grease the gears, just to get it moving, and for you to feel, how easy it is, because it is very, very easy. Just allow it. And it's about the allowing, and then it's just trusting.
Yeah. Should we play with them just really quickly, you guys? Everybody imagine your whiteboard, or just get in that higher self, and I'm going to ask a yes, no question. And then Julia, you think of a yes, no question to ask next, okay?
Oh my gosh.
My yes, no question to you is, you're all clearing your mind, and so many of you already know this answer. Are you a volunteer?
Okay, so whatever.
So now, how did that feel? Sometimes you think it's got to be an answer that comes in a certain way. When I asked that question, I got tingly, and I wasn't even asking it to myself, and I was having a response to it. I got the tingles, the chills.
Yeah.
But
see what that is? See, that's a knowing. See, the body will give a reaction. Sometimes the body you just know something, and that can be a way. It can be tingles. It can be like, my body just kind of, it just felt something. It wasn't tingles, but it was a knowing. So however it is, you're trying to find how you get your information.
It comes in so many ways. Did you come up with a question?
I could do, is the color I'm thinking of blue?
Well, it is, because you said blue. Okay, yes.
And when I said it, because I was like, I'm not thinking that, but when I said it, it quite shifted, and I'm like,
that she was. That's like that. Don't think of a red bouncy ball. Oh my God. And this is why I show up on Friday nights. Oh my God.
Okay, so what's gosh, I don't know. That's it's so funny. There's this game show. Yeah, I love game shows. Okay, my game shows. And there's this game show called Person, Place, or Thing. Have you seen that? I know it's a game.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah,
and it's where they ask yes and no questions, of the host, and then they gradually have to guess what it is. And I thought that is so funny, because that's a complete opposite of what we do with QHHD. And it's like, it shows why you don't do it, because it's difficult to get to the information, you have to get a clue. You have to get something that's a sentence to finally get what it is. It's really hard to do on just yes and no questions. So anyway, don't do that.
I'm hoping everybody was a big yes that's listening. Yes, she's thinking of blue, and yes, you're a volunteer. That's why you're drawn to us and drawn to this. We're all here together, working together, playing together, growing together. So why not? Big happy family. All right. I guess we're ready for another question.
Yes.
Yes.
That was an easy question. So since we were talking about soul speak, this one kind of goes with that. So Amanda took the soul speak course. Does cancer always come from anger, or can people decide to have that experience?
Well, they may have decided, but its root is anger. I mean, it comes from anger. So the decision, actually, see, they do decide because it's to teach them. It's to teach them to forgive, to let go of the anger. So see, that's why they chose that that process that it's teaching, but it's always anger. That's just what it is. It's anger that you push down. I can't think, there's a word and I can't think of the word. But it's where you've
Suppressed?
not released it.
Press.
Suppressed, yeah, suppressed anger. You pushed it down, pushed it down, pushed it down. Probably before cancer or the early days of it, it was just you were eating your emotions, and it was just, you just wouldn't release, you wouldn't vent them, anything, and everybody else has a problem, not me. See, so that's how everything turns inward. You just keep pushing everything down, pushing it down, not expressing it, and it churns and churns and churns in there, and just keeps getting hotter and hotter, and then eventually becomes cancer because it's not released. It's just so suppressed, and you have to express it. And the biggest thing is you have to forgive. So to say, do we choose it? I haven't seen yet. I mean, it's chosen on that other level just because that was a great vehicle to get this information to you. It was like, this is what we find with all the disease processes. When you look at, there's patterns. This will teach me this. See, that's where that language, that's where soul speak comes in. It's deciphering the language as to what it is, why you're choosing that. So you've only chosen it in that way, but it's anger. Everything I've ever seen about it, it's anger on some level.
I'm gonna say a lot of times we don't know we're angry. We just
Yes.
don't know. We've buried, like, it's old anger that we forgot that we were even angry about this. We've moved on. We think we've done the healing work around it. And then all of a sudden here's this anger, and it comes from, it was interesting because I was working with someone last week where, we were talking about, man, they did all this work, and the inner child healing and this journey and that journey and blah, 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 and all these things. And something popped in my head to ask him, well, did you forgive yourself? So they went through this process of forgiving everybody else and did so much work.
Yeah.
And you could tell they did that work.
Yeah.
And this aha moment clicked that they forgave everybody but themselves for the part they played in that, or what they, that they didn't run away at this point or that point. We get angry at ourselves for going through it, and why didn't I run? Why didn't I do this? The why didn't I's. Forgive yourself in that process, because there's something in there for you to be, to heal from on that forgiveness too. And so sometimes we don't even realize, oh, I missed this little tiny microscopic piece over here, but it was actually, that like when you're eating popcorn, you get the kernel little skin in your teeth, and it irritates and irritates and irritates. It's like that, and it's this, and it keep poking at you, and you're like, but I ate the popcorn. No, there was a little piece left. So anyway, you guys can all take that popcorn analogy and run wild with it, because that but
another question. I mean, when you're at while you're asking that, it makes me think of, there's another situation that people ask about a lot, and that's cancer with children. And it's like, why, would they have chosen that? Maybe, they come in with, especially if they come in with it or they get it early on. But you have to remember that children, like you were saying, children are not baby souls. They're big grown-up souls, and they have history. They're coming from other things. And like I said, they could be carrying anger across. They may not have wanted to be here, and they're very angry about being here. I mean, or they've been tapped into maybe angry parents, before coming in. There's so many possibilities. But everything I've seen so far has been anger. There's anger involved in there, and they're not releasing it. And then they've got to go down this road. And this is what they're trying to teach themselves, is how to forgive, how to release, how to love, how to, all those things. And they always, when they come through those, when they will actually work through those, it's beautiful. Such a beautiful story of self-love.
Right.
End up with.
And sometimes those children, like you said, they're the older souls that are like, is there something I can do to just be one and done with this? And they're like, yeah, you can take on this big thing. Because think about how many lives are touched by those children. And
Right.
so there's two sides to that coin. Yeah, they're going through something horrible and tragic, but the compassion and love and the things that they do for all the lives that they touch along that way is unmeasurable.
And that's what you always look at when children have issues, is because that's what they did. They were looking at it as it's affecting, it's not just them, it's affecting everybody around them. So any disabilities, any issues that they come in with, they had that all planned. The whole group did, because it was affecting, it affects everybody.
big.
Like you're saying, it affects everyone around them and
Yeah.
everybody who sees them, everybody who encounters them. You know, it's so big impact.
Big impact. Yeah. Yep. All right. Speaking of big impacts, Tiffany's got another question that's going to have a big impact on us.
Ooh, no pressure. I thought this was a good question. It's always a good reminder, I guess. So this is from Juno. They're asking, what are your techniques for coming back into presence and within the heart throughout the day with all of its ups and downs?
Good question. Yeah, you need, mine is, I think a lot of it's just being present. If you get sucked in too far, it's like, I usually have people, I ask, okay, how can I reframe this? It's something, I just keep that on my mind. I just have to keep, it's like, I don't want to stay in the state of mind. I'm very conscious of it and mindful of it. So I'll ask somebody, help me with this. I want a different way to look at this. I want to reframe this. If I'm sucked in way in there, I'm just churning and churning. And it's like, and that's usually all it takes is, I need to reframe. And as soon as it's worded a different way, it's like, oh yeah. And that starts pulling me back, and I can do that. So it's good to have accountability partners.
Yes. we all need the accountability buddy. Yeah, I would say if you don't have that option, or you're just wanting something you can do when you get home at the end of the day after dealing with the public and different things, is first off, if you got triggered, just sit down and figure out, why did that trigger me?
Yeah.
And I mean, I have, anybody else like to play with crystals? I have selenite, I have black tourmaline, I have sage sitting around, all these things that we can, salt lamp, go stick your hands on salt lamp. It's mostly the intention, it's like we can have these rituals, but seriously, you are this most amazing being. You can just set the intention to release that which is not mine to carry, let that move away, and then look at what is yours, and then do what you need to do to ground that out. And so, yeah, just even like a 2 to 5 minute prayer over yourself. I mean, I've shifted people's energy. Like, I'll get somebody that calls me up and they're like, no, this is going on and it's horrible. And I'm like, let's just say a little prayer. I'm big about prayer. I don't know if you guys have seen me do that or not, but I'll just jump on that and be like, okay. And by the time we're done with just saying just 2 minutes of just talking to source, it's gone. So talk to source, give them 2 minutes.
Yeah. Something that if things just seem really, I mean, there's some, sometimes it's like, how this just take me away. Oh my gosh, how is this ever gonna, it feels like something's just never gonna end. It's just gonna keep going. And so a reminder I have for myself, I mean, it's a very, we've heard it all the time, but it's what gets me through many times, is this too shall pass. Nothing lasts forever. And that's a nice reminder, is this isn't gonna stay. It will not last. It will not stay here. So it will pass. And that helps pull me back up, to some degree. It may not be all the way up here, but it's definitely up higher than I was.
Yes. All right. Those are a lot of good tips. Well done. All right. Let's tip Tiffany over and see if she has another question.
This is from Frank. What is the difference between Dolores Cannon's healing compared to Reiki healing using angelic assistance? I understand there's a past life regression part, but comparing the two energy techniques.
Well, QHHT is, I mean, we don't, it's hypnosis. We don't call it energy healing, but energy is used because the higher self comes in and will do things. It's energetic. Um, it's direct. I mean, there's just many different ways of doing things. So, it's direct. The higher self comes in to the person themselves and then just does whatever's necessary, and they're talking through them. Where Reiki, it's coming through the facilitator and acting on the person and working in their energy field. So that would be a difference. Is where in QHHT, it's actually coming through the client, through the person themselves, directly into them. And that's a huge thing. To me, that's the greatest thing that QHHT does, is it allows the person to have personal interaction with their higher self so they understand what it looks like and feels like and sounds like. So then they know how to work with it on a conscious level. To my understanding, Reiki does not do that. It's energy work through a facilitator on the person, not downgrading it at all. It's just they all have their place. So it's what works at what time. But as far as the difference, I would say that's probably the biggest difference, besides the past life part and all that.
I'm going to give you two similarities that I can pick up on. That's intention and belief system. They both work with that. And then the differences would be how those intentions are set and how they're brought forward. So, yeah. I mean, they're two different modalities. So
they are, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's good. I like that.
There's a lot of different modalities, but
Really?
really different. There's a lot of different ones, and that's just it. It's not to say any one is the best or the only. That's not what any of them are saying. There are just a lot of different ones because different people respond to different things, and so that way everyone can get something from something.
Absolutely. I love a Reiki session.
I just do. Yeah.
I'll go. Someone says Reiki and they'll be like, where's the table? I'll go lay down. Yeah. It's just so relaxing. One of the things about Reiki is you're not interacting, you're just absorbing and receiving. You're just receiving. Whereas QHHT, you're going to interact and you're going to be looking, you're on a journey. And with Reiki,
very interactive.
You're receiving. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Very good point.
Both excellent modalities.
Good question.
Okay. What else? Where are we at? We got about 5 more minutes, I think.
Oh, okay.
No, time.
I forgot to be looking at time. I'm just,
let's just keep going. Yeah. Do we have more questions, Tiffany?
Yeah, this is a question about ETs. This individual, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was meditating. I met ETs from which I thought were Palladians. However, when I came close, they looked like grays, but shining white and very tall. They surround me and started to clean my body energetically. My question is, who are they?
I call them the
you
tall
know
whites.
better who they are because I don't
I literally call them tall whites. That's my name for them. And they are the healers. They tell me they're from the 12th dimension and they're the tall white healers is what I call them.
There's your confirmation too.
Yeah. You described them perfectly. Yeah, that's kind of the way they look. So I wish I could have a quick way to pull up an image of them and then we could just give you more confirmation, but they kind of glow too. So maybe yours glowed, did they? But they are definitely ones to call on. I typically find that they'll work with the electric blue waters, which is a healing water. So if you're working with those guys, have them take you to the pools, the electric blue water pools. They're awesome. Everyone do that. Just go do that. And soak in a, just imagine you're absorbing that energy because it's very healing. Okay, there was my 2 cents on that.
Very cool.
Okay, now I'm going to write a note about that. Okay, what else we got? We got time for one more?
One quick one.
That means you have to talk really fast, Tiffany.
I know. Well, I'm just gonna stall by just making noises. And
And again,
do you think, yeah, I can stall for 3 minutes. Do you think Dolores came back, or is she a spirit guide?
Um, that's I've heard that. I've had that question before, and I've had people tell me she's back and things like that. I don't feel it. I know that she's there if I need her. I think the aspect that we know of as Dolores is staying in that realm that we can access and things. It might be that another aspect has. I mean, I don't, because we're multidimensional. So I would say very likely that there's a part of her that has, in some way, but I don't feel it. I don't sense her has, like, she's not gone or anything like that. I don't, yeah, I feel like she's just still there. So.
It's kind of funny because you asked that question, Tiffany, and I got in my head, I'm hearing, why would I come back? Or why would I have left if I was just going to come back? It just sounded to me like something she would say. And so I just wanted to say that out loud, rather or not that was her saying it.
Yeah, she left. When she left, she wanted to. She's like, I can help more. I can do more on the other side. So,
and
yeah.
she has. Everyone says,
Mhm.
I feel her tapping on my shoulder. I feel her watching and helping me through the sessions. And so, yeah, I really think the energy we know as Dolores, I think, is very busy in the realm she's in. And she may come back when everything's said and done, just to experience what everybody's worked so hard on to get to the 5th dimension. But
yeah, I think this is her way. I mean, she started everybody in the new thought of the new earth and all this transitioning and getting all that rolling. And then now she's over on that side helping from that direction. And it makes sense, because she has I mean, while this is still happening here, it was already cranking. She started that engine going, and then now she can go. So it's like she's running it from 2 different dimensions, really.
absolutely.
We're helping on this side.
Okay, now you have to talk super fast about QHHT. Where do people find a practitioner? Where do they become a practitioner? How do they find the reunion/retreats?
Yeah, QHHTofficial.com for everything QHHT. To become a practitioner, we have a sale going on right now, so it's a great time if you're even thinking about being a practitioner. Go ahead and get the course now. All of that information is on the homepage. If you're thinking about joining us in one of our retreat locations in Phuket, Thailand, or Sedona, Arizona, that would be under events or retreats. So on the menu bar, just go there and it'll pop up the different ones. We still have a few seats, not very many, left in Thailand. So if that's something that's on your bucket list, come on. We're gonna have such a good time. And then Sedona, it's open. We have the hotel link on there now. Yeah, and it's going, I mean, very quickly. People are signing up for that one. So, but we still have seats. We're okay. That one. So anyway, everything. And then how can people find you, Tracy?
Go to QHHTofficial.com and find a practitioner. I'm in Oregon. And if it's a destination location for you, you fly into Portland. Or you can come to tracymahan.com. That easy. All right.
And juliacannon.com for anything Soul Speak. And Happy New Year, everybody. I'm so excited. Woo! Love you. And thank you so much for being here with us. And thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Tiffany. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.